Good morning, everybody. This is Give Me That Change TV, and I wanted to quickly get on here to get my picks up for Week 5 of the NFL season. As last week I put my picks up late, and I was a little dissatisfied with the amount of hits I got. Not to mention, last week I went 13-3, not counting tonight's game. But ultimately, let's get into Week 5 picks here, baby. This is the week that I'm excited for. First up, we got the New Orleans Saints playing against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers, to me, are playing quite sound football right now. Offense is clicking, defense is clicking. New Orleans Saints, their defense is clicking, offense is clicking. Who's going to win the game here? Carolina's at a home advantage, but the thing of the matter is it's going to come down to the offense. And the offense here for the New Orleans Saints is a little bit stronger. They've been to the Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl. They know how to play under big-time situations. Carolina's going to stay in the game, but it's going to be the New Orleans Saints ultimately getting the win here. Oakland Raiders are up next against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans right now are really upset and worried. I don't know what's going on with that Andre Johnson situation, but if he is not in the game or if he is out of the game, then no questions about it, I'm going to have to completely change my pick here and go with the Oakland Raiders. However, if Andre Johnson is in the game, then I have to say that the Houston Texans have their chances of beating the Oakland Raiders. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals against the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings should be a little happy here as they're going to get their first win of the season here. Next up, we have the KC Chiefs against the Indianapolis Colts. The KC Chiefs showed this past week that they can compete with some of the better teams in the NFL, and obviously their offense has not disappeared. Indianapolis Colts, they're a solid team as well defensively, and I think that it's going to come down to the defenses here. And if the defense can shut down the passing or the running game of each side. So ultimately here I'm going to go with the KC Chiefs taking the win. Next up we have the Seattle Seahawks against the New York Giants. The New York Giants this past week got a win over the Arizona Cardinals. However, the New York Giants still to me are not looking amazing. They're looking very sloppy. I feel like they can't really get that run game established like I really would like to see them. I think their offense, Eli Manning is struggling, having very difficult times right now, and I think that ultimately that this team is very weak right now in the essence of that they could have somebody come in and walk all over them. So I'm going to take the Seahawks getting an upset here. Next up we have the Philadelphia Eagles against the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills and the Eagles both took losses this past week, but the Eagles ultimately took the bigger loss, and that was to put Vic back in. Yes, he did do quite well, and he did put up great numbers, but the fact of the matter is the guy I feel like is getting beaten up too much. I think they need to rest him, and I think that what it's going to come down to this week is that they're going to start Vic. And the thing that's going to come down to is they're going to have Vic playing the whole game. And Vic will throw many interceptions to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills defense is obviously shown to be the #1 defense in the NFL right now. They have had how many interceptions for touchdown and how many great sacks. I mean, they're just playing great ball. But yeah, they did take a loss this past week, but I think that they're going to be able to compete against the Philadelphia Eagles and ultimately get the win here. Next up we have the Cincinnati Bengals against the Jacksonville Jags. Cincinnati Bengals showed that they are not out of it, and that there will be times where they may be screwed up and not be able to get any points on the board, but they will be able to ultimately be able to win games, and they beat the Buffalo Bills this past week. So the Cincinnati Bengals to me are a sound away from being one of the contender teams in the NFL, being top 15 or better. And the thing about this is Jacksonville Jags right now I think are a little, like I said, they're starting to show some kinks and stuff, but it's still not clicking on the level I'd like to see clicking on. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are clicking a little better. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals here on the win. Tennessee's playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers next. Pittsburgh Steelers, they're playing shitty ball. They can't run the game. They can't run the ball anymore. It's like the past 2 games, I mean, honestly, man, I feel like they ran maybe 80 yards between the past 2 games. Their running backs are sorry as all shit. They just can't get it going. The offensive line's sucking, and I think that it's going to be the ultimatum of the game this week. If the Tennessee Titans can get all over Ben Roethlisberger, and if they can hunt down that run and shut it down, then the Tennessee Titans will get the win. If not, the Pittsburgh Steelers will get the win here. Next up, we have the Tampa Bay Bucs against San Fran 49ers. San Fran 49ers, like I said, I really like them. I also really like the Tampa Bay Bucs. They're a young team, and I think they have a lot of potential. In this game here, it's going to come down to a battle between the defenses and the running game. And the San Fran 49ers are going to lead the way with the running game as they have a more experienced running back, and that's what's ultimately going to come down to here. Next up, we have the New York Jets against the New England Patriots. This is always a battle every single year, but the fact of the matter is New England is home this year, and New England Patriots are the #1 offense in the NFL. But don't forget the New York Jets are one of the top defenses in the NFL, but the New York Jets have one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and the New York Patriots have the worst defense one of the worst defenses in the NFL. So what is it going to come down here? I think it's going to ultimately come down to which quarterback can take their team down the field more and score. Because if Sanchez can't score shit, then and Brady's able to pass all over or do whatever he does to score on the Jets and doesn't allow any turnovers for their defense, then they ultimately lose the game. And that's what it's going to come down to. I think the New England Patriots will get the win here. Next up, we have the San Diego Chargers against the Denver Broncos. It's a wild pick here, but I'm going to think the Denver Broncos getting an upset alert here by 3 or more points. Not sure why. I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling the time of the year right now over in that stadium, and it'd be a cool win. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers against the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is the game of the week. The game to be talked about all the time this whole week. And the fact is we have two great quarterbacks going at it offensively, and the fact of the matter is that the defense is what's going to be the epitome of the game here, and the Green Bay Packers defense is obviously one of the best in the NFL. There's no questions about it. One of the best in the NFL. They are sound on all levels. The Atlanta Falcons also have a solid defense, but it's not as tough as the Green Bay Packers. The Atlanta Falcons are going to try to use that they're in the Georgia Dome for their advantage, but it's not going to help. Green Bay Packers ultimately get the win, but it's not by a long. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears against the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions have had 2 straight games come from behind wins over the past 2 weeks. The Chicago Bears barely beat the Cincinnati Carolina Panthers this past week, and defensively, I think they're just I don't think they have anybody that can match Calvin Johnson. So I'm going to take the Detroit Lions on a win here, but it's not going to be by a lot. It's going to be by a field goal or less than a touchdown. And those are my picks for Week 5 of the NFL season. Enjoy, leave some comments, and hit the like button. I'll talk to you guys later. See you.